A billionaire's funeral. Empty chairs. Zero mourners. But 3 months ago, he had everything. A penthouse, an empire, and a bride who loved him. Then he made one devastating choice that destroyed it all. What he didn't know. She had already saved him, and he threw it away. This is the story of the man who lost everything because he was too afraid to be loved. The folding chairs sat empty in rows of 12. Marcus Chen stood at the back of the chapel at Sunset Memorial Gardens, watching the funeral director check his watch for the 3rd time. Nobody was coming. Not his parents who'd cut him off 2 years ago when he dropped out of Stanford. Not his former business partner who'd already hired lawyers. Not the investors who wanted his head on a spike. The only sound was the air conditioning humming and the traffic on Interstate 580 rushing past outside. "Sir, we need to start," the funeral director said. His name tag read Roberto. He looked uncomfortable, like he'd seen sad funerals before but never one this empty. "There's no one to start for," Marcus said. His voice came out flat. He'd cried himself dry 3 days ago in that motel room in Fresno when he'd finally admitted what he'd done. "The deceased, your grandmother, she deserves a service." Marcus almost laughed. Grandma Lynn had been the only one who never gave up on him. She'd sent him $20 every month, even when he was pulling in 7 figures. Even when the money stopped mattering. Even when everything fell apart. She died thinking he was still that golden boy from the TechCrunch articles. Silicon Valley's youngest AI billionaire. That was 8 months ago. Now he was 32, bankrupt, and his grandmother was in a casket with nobody to mourn her. "Let's just do it," Marcus said. Roberto nodded and pressed play on a CD player that had probably been there since 2005. Some generic hymn started playing. Marcus sat in the front row and put his face in his hands. This was rock bottom. This was what happened when you made all the wrong choices because you thought you were protecting people by pushing them away. 3 months earlier, everything had been different. Marcus had been standing in his Palo Alto penthouse, looking out at the San Francisco Bay, watching sailboats drift across the water. His phone buzzed. Keisha's name lit up the screen with a photo of her laughing, head thrown back, sun in her eyes. That photo was from Napa 2 months ago when he'd proposed. "Hey, beautiful," he answered. "I'm at the venue and they're asking about the deposit for the flowers. Did you send it?" Her voice was pure joy. Keisha Washington was the best thing that ever happened to him. She worked 60-hour weeks at a youth center in Oakland, made $38,000 a year, and somehow radiated more peace than anyone he'd ever met. She'd grown up in East Oakland, raised by a single mother who cleaned houses and died of cancer when Keisha was 23. Keisha had put herself through San Francisco State while working overnight shifts at a hospital. She didn't care about his money. She cared that he showed up, that he listened, that he'd spent a whole Saturday helping paint a mural with her kids at the center. "I'll handle it right now," Marcus said, but his chest tightened. The deposit. He'd forgotten because this morning his CFO had sent him the real numbers. Not the ones they'd been showing investors. The real ones. "You okay? You sound weird." "Just tired." "Love you. Love you more. See you at rehearsal dinner tonight." "And Marcus, thank you for doing this. For building a life with me. I know your family doesn't approve." "You're my family now," he said. He meant it. Every word. But 6 hours later, Marcus sat in a private room at Boulevard Restaurant in San Francisco, watching his world detonate. The rehearsal dinner was supposed to start in 20 minutes. Keisha was getting ready at her apartment. 40 guests were on their way. His business partner, David Wong, had asked to meet early. They'd started Nexus AI together 5 years ago. Built it from nothing. Last valuation, $800 million. David slid a folder across the table. His face was gray. I'm out. My lawyers say I need to distance myself before the SEC investigation goes public. Marcus's hands went cold. What investigation? Don't play stupid. The phantom contracts. The inflated user numbers. You told me those were just aggressive projections. They were. David, we were going to hit those numbers. We didn't. We lied to investors. That's fraud, Marcus. Federal prison fraud. The whistleblower came forward yesterday. It's Jason from accounting. He has everything. The room tilted. Marcus gripped the table. How bad? They're asking for their money back. All of it. $400 million in Series C funding. And when they don't get it, they're coming after everything. Your penthouse. Your cars. Your stock portfolio. And then they're coming after you personally. David stood up. He wouldn't make eye contact. I have kids, Marcus. I can't go down with you. My lawyers are filing papers tomorrow to separate my liability. You're on your own. Marcus sat there after David left. The restaurant buzzed with Friday night energy. Couples laughing. Someone celebrating a birthday. The city lights sparkled through the windows. He pulled out his phone. Keisha had texted, "Just got to my parents' house. They're so excited. See you soon." She'd added 3 heart emojis. He couldn't do this to her. Couldn't drag her into federal investigations and bankruptcy and public humiliation. She'd worked too hard to build her life. She deserved someone stable. Someone who wasn't about to lose everything and maybe go to prison. His hands shook as he opened his laptop. He transferred money. Paid her rent for 6 months. Paid off her student loans, what little she had left. Set up an anonymous donation to her youth center. Everything he could do before the accounts got frozen. Then Marcus Chen did the worst thing he'd ever done. He sent one text to Keisha, "I can't do this. I'm sorry. Please don't look for me." He blocked her number. Blocked her social media. Walked out of the restaurant. Got in his Tesla and drove. He drove until he hit Fresno at 3 a.m. and checked into a Motel 6, off Highway 99, that charged $49 a night and didn't ask questions. He lay on the scratchy comforter, staring at the ceiling, listening to trucks rumble past on the highway, and waited for his heart to stop hurting. It never did. If this story is hitting different, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and drop a like. You're part of this community now, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Now back to Marcus and Keisha's story. 6 weeks later, Marcus was still in Fresno. The motel had become home in the way terrible places do when you stop believing you deserve better. He'd grown a beard. Lost 15 pounds. Wore the same 3 T-shirts he'd bought at Target. He worked overnight shifts stocking shelves at a warehouse for $16 an hour. Nobody recognized him. Nobody cared. The federal investigation was all over the news, but his lawyers had managed to keep his face out of it so far. David had flipped on him completely, claiming Marcus had deceived him too. The penthouse was gone. The cars were gone. His bank accounts were frozen. He had $473 to his name. His phone buzzed at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. He was lying in bed trying to sleep before his shift. Unknown number. He'd changed his number twice, but somehow collection agencies still found him. He let it ring. It buzzed again. Then again. On the fourth call he answered. Marcus Chen. A woman's voice. Not a robot. Not a collector. Who's asking? It's Keisha. His whole body went rigid. He sat up so fast his head spun. How did you? You used your credit card at the 7-Eleven next to your motel 3 days ago. The one that isn't frozen yet. Took me 2 weeks to track, but I found you. Her voice was different. Harder. I'm outside. Room 214. Open the door. Marcus looked at the door like it might explode. His heart was hammering. Keisha, you shouldn't have come. I told you. Open the door or I'm making a scene in this parking lot. Your choice. He opened the door. Keisha stood there in jeans and a Howard University sweatshirt, her braids pulled back, her face showing every ounce of the exhaustion and fury she felt. She looked thinner too. Her eyes were red-rimmed like she hadn't been sleeping. She pushed past him into the room. 6 weeks, she said. She didn't yell. Somehow that was worse. 6 weeks you let me think I did something wrong. That I wasn't enough. That you just stopped loving me. She turned to face him. Do you know what that does to a person, Marcus? Do you have any idea? I was protecting you. Don't you dare. Now her voice rose. Don't you dare tell me you were protecting me by disappearing the night before our wedding. By blocking my number. By making me stand in that church in my dress while 200 people watched me realize you weren't coming. My friends had to hold me up, Marcus. I collapsed. Collapsed because I thought maybe you were dead. Maybe you'd been in an accident. But no. You just ran. The company collapsed. The investors, they're coming after everything. Federal investigation. I'm probably going to prison, Keisha. I couldn't let you. Let me what? Choose for myself. Decide what I could handle. She was crying now, angry tears streaming down her face. You think I'm some fragile thing that needs protecting? I grew up in East Oakland. My mother died in my arms because we couldn't afford better health care. I've been poor, Marcus. I've been scared. I've survived things you can't imagine. And you thought what? That bankruptcy would break me. You worked so hard for everything you have. I worked hard for us. For a future together. And you threw that away because you were scared. She wiped her face with her sleeve. You thought running away was love? You thought leaving me humiliated and heartbroken was protecting me? Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. I'm sorry. God, Keisha, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what else to do. Everything was falling apart and I couldn't drag you down with me. Well, guess what, Marcus? You don't get to make that choice alone. She pulled out her phone and opened her banking app. Turned it toward him. Look at this. He looked. The balance showed $18.42. I don't understand. My mother left me a trust fund when she died. $230,000. Everything she saved her entire life cleaning houses. She wanted me to buy a home someday. Have something stable. Keisha's voice cracked. 3 months ago I liquidated it. All of it. I paid off your 3 biggest creditors. The ones who were threatening criminal charges. I did it anonymously through a lawyer. Cost me everything plus I took out a loan for the lawyer fees. Marcus felt the floor drop out from under him. What? No. Keisha, no. I did it 8 weeks ago, Marcus. 2 weeks before you ghosted me. I already knew about the company. I already knew about the investigation. Your CFO's wife goes to my church. She told me everything at Bible study. She felt terrible about it. Keisha stepped closer. Her eyes were blazing. I knew, and I handled it, and I never told you because I didn't want you to feel like I was saving you. I was going to tell you after the wedding. But you didn't give me that chance. Marcus couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. You lost everything. Your mother's money. Everything she worked for. I chose to. That's the difference. I chose you. I chose us. I knew what I was doing, and I did it anyway because that's what love is, Marcus. It's choosing someone when things get hard. It's not running away to some motel in Fresno feeling sorry for yourself. But the investigation, I might still go to prison. Then I'll visit you every week. I'll wait for you. I'll rebuild while you're gone, and we'll start over when you get out. She was sobbing now. Don't you get it? I didn't fall in love with your penthouse or your Tesla or your TechCrunch articles. I fell in love with a man who spent his Saturdays painting murals with at-risk kids, who remembered every story I told him about the kids at my center, who cried when I told him about my mom. That's who you are, Marcus. Not this scared man hiding in a motel. Marcus dropped to his knees. Actually dropped. The sobs came from somewhere deep and awful, all the grief and shame and terror he'd been holding for 6 weeks. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You lost everything because of me. Keisha knelt down and grabbed his face in her hands. I didn't lose anything that mattered. Money comes back. Trust funds rebuild. But you, I almost lost you. And that would have destroyed me. She pressed her forehead against his. I'm so angry at you. I'm furious. But I still love you. I never stopped. How can you forgive me? I haven't yet. Not completely. You hurt me, Marcus. Really hurt me. That's going to take time. She pulled back to look at him. But I'm choosing to rebuild with you. If you'll let me. If you'll stop trying to protect me from life and just let me be your partner. Marcus pulled her close and held on like she was the only real thing in the world. Maybe she was. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. She laughed through her tears. It was the saddest, most beautiful sound he'd ever heard. We're broke, Marcus. Like actually broke. I'm living with my cousin in Oakland. Working double shifts. Your stocking shelves in Fresno. Your lawyers say the best case is you avoid prison, but you'll be in debt for years. I know. And I still want to marry you. Not in some big church with 200 people. Just us. At a courthouse. Starting from zero. She looked at him. Is that enough for you? Can you build a life with me when there's nothing left? Marcus cupped her face in his hands. You're not nothing. You're everything. 2 weeks later they stood in the Alameda County Courthouse on a Thursday morning. Keisha wore a simple white dress from Target. Marcus wore khakis and a button-down. No guests. No flowers. Just a judge who looked bored and a clerk who served as their witness. When the judge said, "You may kiss your bride," Marcus kissed her like she'd brought him back from the dead. Because she had. They walked out into the Oakland sunshine with nothing but each other and the terrifying, beautiful possibility of starting over. Marcus's phone buzzed. His lawyer. The plea deal came through. No prison time, but 5 years probation and restitution payments. He showed Keisha. She squeezed his hand. We'll figure it out, she said. And for the first time in months, Marcus believed her. They got on the BART train heading toward her cousin's apartment. Keisha fell asleep on his shoulder. Marcus watched Oakland roll past through the window. The warehouses and murals and palm trees and all the messy, beautiful reality of life without safety nets. He was scared. He was broke. His grandmother had died alone. His reputation was destroyed. But Keisha's hand was warm in his, and she'd chosen him anyway. That had to count for something. That had to be enough to build on. The train rattled through the tunnel toward an uncertain future, and Marcus held on tight to the only thing he had left. It turned out that was all he needed. Marcus learned the hard way that real love doesn't run when things fall apart, it runs toward you. If this story moved you, subscribe and turn on notifications because we're dropping real, raw, emotional stories like this every week. Drop a comment and tell me, would you have forgiven Marcus? Let's talk about it. See you in the next one.